This is the podcast that I love doing every year. Even though it's only the second time I've done it, it's still fun. But welcome to episode 84 of YWC Football Talk, the mock draft, round one. We're going to be picking all 32 teams here. And I've got quite the panel to help me out. I got Markeem, I got Joe, and I got Phil. How are we feeling tonight, gentlemen?
I'm better now, man. Better now. Let's do this thing.
No better week than draft week.
Yeah, draft pick. Let's do it. And the Pats have a top 20 pick for the first time in forever, so this is new.
We got all that. Well,
Man was the last one that I remember. But
anyway, just to explain the rules to the viewers listening or watching it on YouTube, basically I did a randomized draw from 1 to 32, so all of us have a pick. And then from there, so basically the person who has the pick is going to pick for that team. And if they want to trade, then trades will automatically happen. So say, for example, if I have pick number 3 and I think a trade-up's going to happen, even though it won't, the person then, say if I trade picks 3 to 13, whoever the team's 13 was, then goes up to 3, and then that person gets whoever's picking at 3. Just a quick overlay for the people at home or listening so they know exactly what's going on. But without further ado, we're going to get this thing started with the first overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And making the pick for the Jaguars in the YWC Football Talk mock draft is Phil Nightmare 10. Once again, take it away.
man, who is going to be all elite? I think this pick is pretty obvious. I think most people know who this pick's going to be, unless the Jags decide to do something completely random. But if I'm making this pick, I know who I'm taking, and I think it's the Jags should know. I think it would be like a shock of the world if they didn't take this person. But the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of the crappy University of Clemson.
And I do not think that anyone out there has a problem or is going to fight you on this pick.
No, I think
not going to fight you on it. I still think it's a bit overrated, but not going to fight you on it though.
Yeah, Markeem, honestly, I will say, like, I think when you just have so much on him, like, there's so much, like, buzz around him that, like, I don't know, like, it's just a lot of pressure, I guess is what I agree with you. I think
he is an all-time great front runner. All-time great.
Yeah, and I think
every time he has been in a situation that has not been favorable to him, he has not been good.
Yeah, and I think that proved itself. So I think that, but I think you can make that case for some of those other quarterbacks as well.
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it,
and we'll get for sure. So, but that's the thing. Like I think I like what Markeem said because I think you need to know that they're all human. Like they're all like sometimes these quarterbacks don't pan out. I mean, obviously Andrew Luck was really like he was skill wise was still the same quarterback that we thought he would be. But if you don't have a team around him, if you don't give the man an offensive line, he's gonna deteriorate and retire early, which is what happened. So,
Trevor Lawrence is not Peyton Manning. He's not Andrew Luck. He's not John Elway. And I've seen him compared to all three dudes. It's really getting on my nerves.
I don't know. And that's a good point, Markeem, because while yes, as a Gamecock fan, like I root against Clemson, but like Trevor Lawrence has been a really good quarterback to watch, but despite fandom, putting fandom to the side, but I don't really see a guy that I can like say that okay, Trevor Lawrence is like this guy, which I've never been a guy that compares to people in the pros or whatever a lot, anyways, or college players and like what they're most like about. But he's definitely not. He doesn't come off as like a Peyton. He doesn't come off as like.
He don't jump off the screen like that. I mean, he makes all the difficult throws you have in the NFL, but like them dudes are just different. There was something about them where like, yo, they're different. You know what I mean? And I don't think just me. I don't get that vibe from him. Like even Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? Like, are we sure he'll be as good as Deshaun Watson? Because Deshaun Watson's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Are we sure?
And I said that after Trevor Lawrence's first year too. I said, man, like they were already crowning him as like the golden child of Clemson. I'm like, did you guys not just see what Watson did for you guys? So, yeah, he didn't win a championship or didn't. Yeah, he did. Watson won a championship, right?
Yeah, he won a championship last year.
I meant like I said, Watson just won a championship, but like I mean, like he like all that he did, and it's like we're already like Trevor Lawrence wins one, and we're already crowning him as better than Watson. Like I was definitely on that train. Like let's slow down a little bit, but yeah, I mean it's the obvious pick here. I think it's Trevor Lawrence, and then there's everybody else, but.
He was being crowned since like his sophomore year of high school, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was one of the most elite prospects in terms of recruits in the history of football in America, period.
And I will say this
He was
too.
highly touted.
Being from South Carolina and knowing like and hearing like he seems like a genuinely good guy. Like I don't get like the vibes of like, but like when you first look at him, if you don't know him or whatever, like I can see like pretty boy vibes. So hopefully he doesn't turn into a pretty boy because that's not what like, it doesn't seem like he's actually a good guy. So like let's just hope that doesn't. But if it does, I mean he's gonna he's got to take ownership for what his mistakes and things like that. So. On the field is what I'm talking about. But.
Exactly. Anyway, I just want to keep the ball rolling here. We're going to move on to pick number 2, which is the New York Jets. And that pick belongs for the YWC Mock Draft 2021 edition. Nightmare Balla, Markeem, you're up.
I mean, I think this is pretty obvious the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson. If you can't get Lawrence, I mean, I guess the upside of him is too big to ignore. You know what I mean? But again, like Lawrence, I think that he hasn't been challenged much, and the time he was challenged, he looked rattled. I mean, but his arm talent is up there with anybody in this draft except probably Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, like I think this is the obvious pick.
The one thing I was going to say too is with Zach Wilson, and I know Phil had his little remark there, and Phil, don't feel this may offend you a bit, but when your biggest competition is Coastal Carolina, that's a bit of a red flag to me. That's not disrespect to Coastal. That's more of a shot at BYU. That's just something I wanted to throw in there.
Another thing I'll say to that, though, the biggest competition is even the only competition they had.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though. Like, I don't even remember who they played in the Boca Raton Bowl, but it's just they had chances to play big schools like the Huskies and Washington and stuff, but they said no.
But also, to be fair to him, Josh Allen played no one at all. He's one of the better QBs in the league his entire career.
I know.
To be fair,
you can make the case for Carson Wentz as well. I mean,
that's a bad example.
Well, probably yeah, that's true. As of right now, until we see more, that's true. But Carson Wentz still had one. All right, well, we're not going off on that today. But what I'm saying is like there's a lot of it seems like a lot of the quarterbacks have they don't have like whatever, you get what I'm saying.
Exactly. And Joe, because I know Joe's been a little quiet here, what are your thoughts so far for the first 2 picks?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly how they're going to go. If we go back just a little bit, like I'm not completely sold. Like I get the Jets moving Sam Darnold if your theory is we need to go get a new guy and kind of restart that rookie contract because that's kind of been the new trend, right? Go get a quarterback on the cheap, build around him as much as possible before he commands a lot of money. But I just don't see them. They're not going to be any better for the next year or two at least. I don't think I think Sam Darnold's okay. I just think the Jets are a complete mess. And it'll be interesting to see. I'm guessing, they think Wilson will come in and start from the go. But I think, there's going to be some growing pains there for sure.
Yeah, honestly, him playing in and this is a bit of a biased take, but him playing in the AFC East when you have to go to Buffalo or New England in the cold, and you got these just absolute monsters chasing you down for the football. There's going to be, how do I say this? He's going to have a similar rookie year to Kyler Murray, where you see the moments of brilliance, I think, but you're going to see moments where he struggles. I think he does well against the bad teams, but against good teams, he's not good at all. He succumbs to the pressure.
Well, that was my thing too. I agree with both you, Joe and Griff, because my thing is people think that some of these organizations, mainly the one that I can point to are the Jets and the Browns, think quarterback fixes everything. And Markeem can attest for this, that we've preached for a long time that quarterbacks isn't everything, and you need to build around that. So I think the answer for the Jets is, well, you can go out and get you another quarterback, but are you going to do the same process you've done for the past however many years? You've got to change the process. And I think the Browns have proven when they finally decided to just build around a guy that it's worked. They made the playoffs. So it was big. Is what I'm saying is the Jets, okay, that's great. Well, is your coach going to work this time, or is Zach Wilson going to go through 3 different coaches, and then you don't really see what he has? Because I don't think we've really seen. Maybe in some people's opinions we have, but I just don't think Darnold. I think Darnold could thrive in the right system, but he just hasn't had the support that
We'll talk about that later because I got things to say about that. But go ahead with your pick, man.
Well, anyway, we're going to move on to pick number 3, which belongs to San Francisco, and I happen to be making the pick, and I'm going to be quick and blunt with this. And also, the only thing I'm going to say too about, and I talked about this yesterday on my podcast with Keegan, was with New York, I feel like they're going to try to make Wilson run their scheme, which they should have done is draft Fields and build around what his scheme is and what he did at Ohio State. That's something I think Joe can attest to, unfortunately.
Yeah, no words.
Sorry. And with the third overall pick in the draft, San Francisco is going to select, in my opinion, Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. I know it's not the most popular pick. I just think it's the kind of quarterback that Kyle Shanahan runs best with. And like he said in his press conference today, who knows if we'll be alive on Sunday. I was the most bizarre football guy quote I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I don't look. I've been actually pretty pro Mac Jones. I do not understand him at 3 though. I'm not knocking your pick because I think that's where they're gonna go to. I just don't understand how Mac Jones has gone that high from like where he was like gonna probably be at 15 for the New England like that area to now 3. Like it's just, I mean, to trade up too, like not fall to like trade, like the Niners are literally going unless they're pulling wool over our eyes or something. But I just don't think I think
it's ironic y'all brought up Sam Darnold because like I think this is a very similar situation where he's getting talked up this high because of his intangibles. Like in my opinion, Sam Darnold, was never like an elite guy in any one thing. But the fact that he was able to get himself out of such horrible situations when he was at USC was really intriguing. And like with Mac Jones, like he was just pretty much thrust in there to play QB. Yeah, I mean, because it was a competition, he was thrust in there with 3 weeks before the season, and he had the greatest season of Alabama quarterback has ever had. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's intangibles, man. That's what it is.
And also, Sam had that Rose Bowl win against Penn State, I believe, in 2018, where that really rose his stock as well. Like, look at Mac. He won a national championship. And to me, the scariest thing about him was, or not about him, but with Alabama, is that he was their bridge guy when they're waiting for Bryce Young to start next year. So that just proves how good, like, Alabama's going to be at the pinnacle of college football once again this year.
The replacement guy.
Exactly. And anyway, I don't think. Does anyone else have anything to say about Mac, or do we just think, look, that I if it were up to me, I would be going Trey Lance or Justin Fields, but I think Mac is just the pick that it's just the Kyle Shanahan pick, because one thing I keep hearing, and I believe it, is that when he went there, I think he was banking on getting Kirk Cousins in free agency in 2018, but once they signed Jimmy Garoppolo, he kind of had to learn to exist with Jimmy.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think I'd be going in the direction of one of the other two. I get that, your system might be more catered toward a Mac Jones type, but, and this is saying a lot, I think he's got, of all the quarterbacks, I think if you're picking him at 3, I think he's got a lot of bust potential, even more than Wilson, which I know is a little bit of a hot take. But I just think, with Bama, you just plug and play quarterback there, and they're just throwing. I mean, how many first round weapons do they have on that offensive line? On that offense, offensive line. There's going to be a couple guys that probably go. Wide receivers, obviously. So, and I hate to knock a guy for playing with a lot of good guys. And I know in practice he went up against a lot of future NFL dudes too. But I just think there's better options on the board. But I do agree that that's what they're going to do.
And at least more imaginative options. Like the upside, like, yeah, Mac Jones, let's say he turns out good, but like, do you see him really being elite? Like, you know what I mean? Like at any point in his career, even like best case scenario, do you ever see that happening?
That's my thing. Like that's a great point, Markeem. My thing is I think Mac Jones could be Jimmy Garoppolo potential. So it's like now you're back in square one, really. Like it's like, I mean, I don't even, me personally, I don't, I mean, I guess I'm a Jimmy G guy, but I don't really see why you're trying to replace him right now anyway, but that's for a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I just think Mac is just being taken too high is my biggest thing.
My ceiling for him is what Kirk Cousins was in Washington before he left for Minnesota.
That's damn good, Griff. That's damn good. That's damn good. I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty on the money.
Yeah. That good job, Griff. That's good.
No problem. But anyway, moving on to pick number 4, which is the Atlanta Falcons. You're up, Phil.
Man, I've been trying to think. I've literally, because I remember you saying I had pick 4. I've been trying to think all day. Like, I just don't see, like, there's a guy that people think that Atlanta's going to take here. And to me, that it doesn't really make sense for Atlanta. Like, it's just with other people down below wanting quarterbacks, wanting to make sure they get a quarterback. I foresee a trade here. I foresee someone coming up to 4 to get a quarterback or either get the player that a lot of people have Atlanta picking. I'm just trying to think of who I would say would trade up to get this player. I mean, I've seen mock drafts where a certain team. I don't know. This one's tough for me.
If you want to think about it for a second, that's fine.
I'm going to go with this because I saw it on a mock. I mean, I'm kind of still. I'm not going to say that it's necessarily my idea, but I saw it and I think it does. I think I could see it happening because of what all the buzz last night. I think the Miami Dolphins trade back up to number 4 to take Kyle Pitts. That's what I think is going to happen. Mel Kiper actually has this on one of his mocks too, and I saw it. I mean, that's just what I'm going to go with because I think that someone's like, I just don't think Atlanta needs to. Atlanta just needs to take picks and get their guy, whoever they're going to take, a little bit later. I know it's Dolphins trading back up after trading 3 kind of doesn't might not make sense to other people, but
what?
Yeah.
Phil.
What?
Phil.
It's not. Hey, I'm just saying. Like, I just don't see the Atlanta making their pick right here. And who else is gonna? I mean, hey, I
don't think the Dolphins are gonna. I don't think it's gonna be the Dolphins. I don't know about that, but I can definitely see someone trading for this pick. I can see that.
This pick is going to be very coveted with Fields and Lance on the board. Their phone will be ringing off the hook, and at that point, it's going to be, if they don't move it before tomorrow, or by Thursday, I think it's going to be one of those things where they're getting calls nonstop about this pick, and there's a few suspects that we all know who are in the market for a quarterback. So
yeah, and I think Broncos are another one I was looking at. I could see the Broncos trading up, especially because I just feel like Elway would want to make a move like that.
Oh yeah, he wants a good quarterback without spending money. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's tough. It's honestly I'm just being honest on here. It's a tough pick for me. So I just saw that and I trust Mel Kiper. So I just thought maybe that would be a good pick there. But
do you want to know the weirdest thing about Mel Kiper I found out today through Todd McShay?
Good.
That Mel Kiper likes to eat pizza, take the cheese off, and then put mashed potatoes on top of the crust.
That is barbaric and disgusting.
What?
Burn in hell for that.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. He also eats a slice of pumpkin pie each morning, and then so Mel's like, those outlier people that like eat gross but are not like morbidly obese. Apparently that's Mel. Like, he eats a slice of pumpkin pie every day, but he puts fat-free whipped cream on it to basically make it seem like, oh, hey, I'm being okay today.
I don't eat like that, and I'm fat as hell. Like, what's going on? What's happening?
Like the people who go to Starbucks and get the almond milk, but then still get the whipped cream on top of their latte.
Right?
Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
I'm glad you said that because I hate that.
If you guys want to know, it's from part of my take on Barstool. I just listened to because I was like, hey, Todd McShay interview, and then they were talking about that how Mel Kiper takes the cheese off the pizza and then puts mashed potatoes on top of it. I'm like, that's double carb loading, and it's absolutely barbaric and disgusting.
I'm out on that. That's all I got.
Yeah.
By the way, I think Kyle Pitts is the best player in this whole draft.
Oh, 100%.
He looks amazing. He really does. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Like before I was like, this dude's a little bit overrated. But when you look inside of his numbers and you look at the amount of times he was thrown to, and you look at his yards per catch, and you look at how many catches he had, it's kind of nuts, man. Like, just he wasn't thrown to as much as you think. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes it so crazy.
Like, I see some of his film too. Like, he's just making defensive backs look silly out there.
And then he can block on top of everything else. Like, he's incredible.
Exactly. The only other picks I could see happening here is maybe Sewell if they really want to shore up their line. I can't see Atlanta going quarterback because they're locked into Matt Ryan for at least the next 2 years. And a surprise one to keep your eyes out for if Atlanta does stay at 4 is Jamar Chase, especially with those Julio Jones rumors that started today with Peter King.
I saw those as well. So
Yeah, because that wouldn't be a trade until June 2nd. But long story short, Atlanta's in cap hell and needs to shed money.
I guess I don't want to mess up this whole draft thing. So we'll just say that Atlanta takes Kyle Pitts, but I just think they're going to trade it. But we'll just say Atlanta. I won't do trades right now because it's hard to predict that. I'll just say that Atlanta takes Kyle Pitts, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
It's all good. It's all good. So back to it. So just to clarify for the folks at home, Phil has changed his mind. So instead of Miami moving back up from 6 to 4, it's going to be Atlanta taking Kyle Pitts at number 4 from the University of Florida. Moving on to the 5th pick in the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome for the first time making a pick tonight is Joe Provost. Joe, you're on the clock.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of rumors about a Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow reunion in Cincy. I absolutely do not agree with that. I think you've got to go protect your most coveted asset. We saw, Burrow looked like Mahomes in the Super Bowl all, in the games that he played this year, just running for his life. I think they got to go get Sewell and shore up that O-line. I know that they signed Riley Reef. And then I think what they're going to do, because Reef actually wanted to stay in Minnesota, and he told them that he'd be willing to switch positions, whether it be right tackle or move to the interior. And I think that's what they'll do if they go ahead and go get Sewell. I think they'll move Reef to the interior. And, there's so many weapons in this draft. They can wait. They're going to be at the top end of the second round. There'll be some weapons there if they want to go offense again to give Burrow some more options. But, yeah, Sewell's the pick for me, hands down.
I firmly agree with that. Part of me thinks so. I don't know why. I think it's going to be Chase just because Burrow has his input, but it's like, we're all wrestling fans here. It's like how we say bitch about WWE booking, where we say what the logical thing to do is and what the Vince thing to do is. The logical thing, take Sewell. The Vince thing, take Chase. Chase is still a great player, but you need to protect your quarterback, your first overall quarterback.
I have my doubts about Jamar Chase in general. Because as great as he was, and he was great, he hadn't played football in a year. You know what I mean? Like, he's been chilling. I'm not sure.
I saw it. He had some underwhelming measurables, right?
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not. I don't know, man. Well, maybe we could just attribute it to him not being in game shape, I guess. But like, that's to me, it's always concerning picking a guy who hadn't played football for a whole year. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's still going to be solid. I just can't wrap my head around letting your most coveted asset just take more beating. Like, you've got to go protect the guy.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I agree too. Like we said, you need to protect him, and we've seen how bad their line is so far. So you just have to go out there and get the protection for him. But you know what? And especially because I think Cincinnati's going to have I already think they'll be somewhere in the top 15 picking next year, but they're not a playoff team as of yet. I still think they need to fine tune a couple things unless they surprise people.
It's a tough division too.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially with Cleveland on the rise and you don't know what Pittsburgh and Baltimore are. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, moving on to pick number 6 and the Miami Dolphins. Phil is once again on the clock. He is a lot in the top 10, but it'll all even itself out down the road. Phil, what do you got for us?
All right, so like I said, I already thought that they were going to trade up, to get Kyle Pitts possibly, but they probably don't have, like, if Atlanta was to not end up taking. But I think the like I said, Kyle Pitts just being there makes too much sense to pass on him if Atlanta's gonna make the pick. But I would think Miami goes offense here. So now we're in the debate of which offensive player is the best. Is it Jamar Chase? Is it Devontae Smith? Is it Jalen Waddle? I don't know. Me personally, I think Devontae Smith is the better pick. So that's the pick I'm going to go with. That might be surprising. Like, I know Jamar Chase is probably higher, is higher on the board. I see a lot of mocks saying Dolphins take Jamar Chase, but if you're taking the best receiver to me that can fit in an offense and can go, it's Devontae Smith to me. So I would have the Dolphins take Devontae Smith at 6.
See, I'm not sure that's gonna happen because you know, he'll like Devontae Smith will be there. That's why you're right. They might just trade this shit down. They might do that.
The one thing I'm going to say quickly about the receivers is between Chase, Waddle, and Smith is I think Smith is the best off-ball receiver. I think Chase is the most physical at the line, but Waddle's the fastest. And if it were me picking, I would have gone Waddle just because of speed. Like, look, we saw it last year where Henry Ruggs was the fastest, and he was the first receiver off the board at 12. Before we get to other thoughts, I actually, as you guys know in my tweet, I said Big Rat was going to be here tonight, but he had something come up at the last minute, so he wasn't able to make it. And he actually sent me excerpts for both of Miami's first-round picks. For the 6th overall pick, he wants either Pitts or Chase. He's fairly confident it's what Greer wants, but he thinks neither will probably be there. If Atlanta goes quarterback, it opens up the door. And at 6, he thinks they'll most likely be Jalen Waddle because Sewell is unlikely. They used a first-rounder last year on left tackle Austin Jackson, and a second round pick on right tackle Robert Hunt. They also gave Eric Flowers $20 million guaranteed last summer to play left guard. They mainly need a center, even though they got Max Skura, and they need a wide receiver with the speed and yak ability very, very badly.
Yeah, I think if they're gonna, and I know there was rumors about what they're gonna do with Tua, but I think one of the Bama boys here, already have a little bit of chemistry there with those guys. I think I tend to agree. I don't think either of those guys will be here at this point. So I think it's gonna end up being one of the Bama wide receivers. That's just where I'm at.
But Jamar Chase
I
is the pick.
just think the receivers tend to never go the way everyone thinks they're gonna go. Like it just
That
seems,
is true.
So it's like it just seems like it just seems like and then the Eagles taking what's the guy's name?
What's his name? No,
Don't ask me. I don't care.
Come on, Mark. You should know.
I saw the clip today. Markeem's gonna kill me for this, but it was the clip of Mike Zimmer reacting to them drafting Jalen Reagor, and they're like, "All right, cool, we'll take Jefferson." Who's the first downloadable NFL character into Fortnite, by the way, which has Juju punching the air.
Yeah, one thing real quick before we move on. I did see there was a report, and we all know reports about this time could be smoke. It could be anything. But the Dolphins apparently had come out and told a few people that as far as the wide receivers go, if they do go exactly that route, like a lot of people think they will, if Pitts were to not be there, that they're automatically pegging anybody who sat out of 2020 down a couple notches.
Oh, so
wow, so there you
might
go.
not be Jamar Chase.
No, that's
that's really concerning though. Like taking someone who hadn't played full contact football in a year, that's risky, man. I'm sorry, it just is.
No, it's a very valid point. It's very, it's like,
The other thing I'll say too, though, is if a team trades up to 4 to get a quarterback off of Atlanta, I think Cincinnati rushes to the podium and drafts Kyle Pitts. But Cincinnati's the team, though, just going back to them, they're super conservative with their picks. They're just going to take who's the best available player off the board.
Yeah.
That's just tying. I know it's a little bit off topic, but it ties all like 4, 5, and 6 together because. For me, pick 4 is really where shit can go sideways, where it's like anything can happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, we're going to move on to pick number 7, belonging to the Detroit Lions. And picking on behalf of the Detroit Lions, sadly, is not Lions fan Joe Provost, even though I want his thoughts and opinions. But Markeem's got the pick, so we'll see where is Markeem going for the Detroit Lions.
All right, so you picked Devontae Smith, right, Phil?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I guess they'd probably go with Jamar Chase, I guess. But, like, I don't know. Like, do they want speed? Do they want speed with Jared Goff? If they want speed, then I guess go with Waddle. But then I think there's hardly any debate at all they take a receiver here. I don't think there's any way. They don't take a receiver. So, you know what? I'll go with Jamar Chase. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think based on how the board's gone, I definitely think they'll take best player available. And I do think at this point it is Chase, despite sitting out a year. If Sewell was on the board still, if the Bengals decided to go Sewell, I think the Lions it'd be wise of them to protect or to shore up that O-line. Goff at the end of the day is just going to be a bridge guy, in my opinion. He couldn't get it done out in LA. I don't think there's any chance the table's just stacked against him in Detroit. I commend him for having a good attitude about coming from LA to Detroit. That's quite the downgrade, but he seems to be a good sport about it, probably better than I would be despite living close to the area. No, it's not really all that bad anymore. But again, it's LA to Detroit. I mean, maybe he called up Blake Griffin and was like, hey, man, what am I getting myself into over here? But that's where I'm at. I agree. I think it'll be Jamar Chase if things unfold the way that they have in our mock here.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle. But it just doesn't seem like a Lions pick to make the right pick. Does that make sense? Like, I know Lions need receivers, Joe, but like, so I think that's what they'll probably end up doing. I kind of agree with that as well. But like, I just feel like they need to like give Jared Goff a chance. Give him so they could trade down. I mean, I don't think anybody else is rushing to get Slater, but so they could if that was their guy, they could probably trade down. But
I will say I am really hoping that they do trade down and just acquire a bunch of assets. If this were to how it's going to play out, hopefully there's a team that's like, oh my God, like Lance is still there. We believe in him. We got to go get him. And then they overpay. So I think the Lions could be sitting pretty here with this number 7 pick. And they could hold it hostage until somebody wants to pony up.
Man, yeah, I think that would be best for them. Yeah, I think it would be best for them to trade, like you said, Joe. I heard some people saying they would take a quarterback, and I would be like, that would be the most Lions thing ever. Like, that would be so dumb.
I think the only quarterback that they would take if you were to fall this far, and it's just not going to happen, would be Fields. But he's not going to fall this far.
No, realistically, I don't think so. Part of me can see Detroit making a pick here, but I can also see Brad Holmes stepping in and saying, you know what, we need to rebuild assets. Joe, you and I talked about this last week. My only concern is who's really calling the shots in Detroit. Because I think there's going to be too many cooks in the kitchen with Rick Spielman, Rod Wood, Holmes, and Dan Campbell. So I feel like someone's got to take charge, which hopefully it should be Brad Holmes because he's the GM. But I just have a feeling like something like that could happen where, you get too many people's different inputs going in on there, so they have to be confident on who exactly they're taking. Or, if they decide as a team, hey, let's move down and collect draft assets, because I believe they have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years after this.
Yeah, and that's what I hope they do. They can really kind of jumpstart this, once again, another kind of rebuild. It's definitely a rebuild. It's not a full-on rebuild. Like, they're not, like, awful. But they're not. It's almost worse that they're not awful, because you're kind of stuck in that middle a little bit. Like I'd almost rather go 2-14 than be 6-10, 7-9.
Amen. That's and to me that's sports in general. I would just rather be the worst or playoff team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially in football. That's the one thing I've learned this year. Like Phil and I know firsthand, New England finishing 7-9 wasn't fun. Like, look, we knew, hey, we should have either gone down bad for it all and be picking in the top 5, or tried to make the playoff push. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So this year, you can tell they're truly trying to make the playoffs in New England. Just obviously an example because it's our team, but you know what? With any sport, like you guys are right, you'd rather be either at the very bottom, at the very top, instead of the middle. Because when you're in the middle, it's kind of like it's basically like this: there's heaven, there's hell, and then there's purgatory. I'd rather be in hell than purgatory.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, what you guys are saying, but I will say this: like, it depends on like the team too. Like, obviously, I don't want to be stuck in I agree with what you're saying. I wouldn't want to be in purgatory when the team's like constantly like a constantly 6-10 team would be miserable. I'm not saying that, but like at the same time, if my team like last year, like I assume that the team's gonna improve to 2, 3, or 4 wins. So it's like that's where it's like I'm okay. Like, I don't want my team to suck. So if I know my team can make strides to get better, then I'm okay with a season like that. But yeah, I don't want to stay in there. Like another 7-9 season, like kill me now. But if I know they're gonna get, they're striding to make moves and make better, then yeah. I definitely don't want to be 2-10 though, or whatever. Obviously not 2-10.
Well, anyway, guys, moving on quickly to team number 8. It's let's see, who's picking for number 8? Oh, that would be me. I'm back up, and I'm gonna do a trade. You know what? I'm doing a trade. Phil, you are no longer picking for the Pats at 15. That'll be me. You're picking for Carolina now, because this is where I think New England can move up, where they're not giving everything up. They can only maybe I could see a trade happening where we give up 15. A first rounder next year, and Gilmore, because obviously, Phil, we know the Gilmore contract situation is a little bit ugly, and Carolina does need some help on the back end with Jeremy Chin. So I can see a trade like that happening, and so we still have 46, and with that, at number 8 overall, trading up, New England will select Trey Lance.
I like it.
I'd rather have Justin Fields, to be honest. and I've not been a Justin Fields guy. But Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, another example. Like, these North Dakota State guys are great until they get in the NFL, and then they're like, he's
a project, man.
That's why I'm taking Lance, is because, look, there's no pressure for him to come in and start immediately. I feel like with Fields, he's going to want to get on the field sooner than later. It's like a Justin Herbert situation, where, hey, Tyrod, let's say Dr. Needle doesn't happen. Tyrod plays a few games, they realize he's not the guy that Herbert goes in. Or even like what happened with Pitts and Tua. With Lance, I feel like he can sit and learn, and then the Patriots can see what they have, because then they would have Cam, Stidham, and then Trey Lance. That's why I think, just because like we were talking about earlier, Trey Lance I feel like could be a very good quarterback in this league.
Realistically, what do you think the Pats are going to have to give up to move up like that?
Either I'm gonna make a comparison trade. So the Buffalo Bills in 2018 traded with Tampa Bay to go up and get Josh Allen. They only had to give up 2 second-round picks. I could see New England moving up to like 7, 8, or 9, depending on whatever the fuck Denver wants to do, and give up 2 seconds. I think if they want to move up anywhere past even 7, I feel like Detroit's gonna want 2 firsts, but Atlanta, I would love to see them get to 4, but I think you're going to have to pay an aggressive price, and Bill's not going to do that. So unless Bill manages to finesse Terry Fontenot, I feel like, hey, maybe 2 firsts and Gilmore or 2 seconds can get the job done.
I also think, like, I guess it's the Pats fan in me, but I'm all this talk about trades, and I feel like New England's going to end up trading down and get a quarterback in the second round. I just would not be surprised if that happened, but I'm hoping I'm just I'm overthinking it. But
Phil, go watch the Davis Mills film and tell me what you think.
Nah, the cupboard is bare after these dudes in the first round. There's nothing.
What do you Markeem, real quick? I know this is kind of off, but like I've heard some things. What do you think of Kellen Mond?
I don't think he's an NFL player. I think his destiny is holding a clipboard. You know what I mean? Like, it's like none of these. After we get out this first round, none of these dudes worth talking about.
Yeah, I don't think. I know a lot of people are high on Kyle Trask, and I mean, I think Tony and Pitts made him look like really good.
Yeah, like he's gonna be a hell of an accountant, but he's not an NFL. You know what I mean? He's not an NFL player. Like all these first round dudes, I think have potential to be good. Some great. But I think after that, I think all of them gonna be bad. All of them after that.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think.
Mark this word when Kellen Mond's a Hall of Famer. Or something.
The only person who thinks Kellen Mond's a Hall of Famer is Chris Sims.
No, I'm just saying. No, it's like Markeem's not wrong in his assessment. I'm just saying like this is when it ends up coming back to like Kyle Trask wins 3 Super Bowls or something.
That'd be hilarious. Hey, you never know, but that'd be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
It would be. Well, anyway, guys, we're gonna move on right now to pick number 9, and Joe Provost, you're on the clock with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, so I kind of think I get the vibe that Denver's kind of already giving up on, not fully giving up, but kind of not content with the development of Drew Lock. I think they'll wait it out one more year, realizing maybe, with the top QBs off the board already at this position, I could see them, if there's somebody here that somebody wants to come get, I could see them trading down too and just trying to stack some picks. But with all that being said, a guy that I've gotten to watch for a couple of years now, and he's good, and it just kind of fits that Denver defense mold. I think they definitely, in this position, would go with Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State. Dude is fast. He's got that lateral sideline to sideline speed. He's great blitzer, stuff the run. He's just kind of a do-it-all linebacker, and I like him quite a bit.
Yeah, so with Von Miller getting older, he's very quarterbacky on defense. I can definitely see them doing that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
like you saw him at Penn State, he was definitely like, a lot of adjustments, lining up even on the line at times. He's really good. I like him too.
Yeah, and he'll get. I think the exciting and appealing thing about him is they can bring him in, and he'll get to learn from one of the best right out the gate.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because even last year too, at Denver's defense, like obviously they didn't have the best record. I think they were 6-10. Like their defense still kept them in a lot of games.
Yeah, and I mean if your offense, if you're not ready to go get it right now, just keep building. I mean, they're not beating Kansas City. I don't, and Oakland I think is kind of going in the right direction. I think they are. I'm never going to just full out commit to saying that, but I think they're going in the right direction. And with the bell cow running back that they've got there, and then, the matchup nightmares that Kansas City presents, I just think this is the direction that they'd go.
Especially with Fangio under the helmet head coach.
Yep, exactly.
Anybody have anything else to add with Denver, or?
Nah, that's a good ass pick.
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's nothing I can say about that. The only thing I'll say is that means that Justin Fields is still available, and now it's gonna be where does he go? Because that's gonna be interesting now.
Exactly, but anyway, moving on to pick number 10, picking for his rival Dallas Cowboys. You're up, Markeem.
All right, this one is a bit difficult because you can do a bunch of different things here. I'm not sure because they'll be relatively healthy this year. Relatively, you would think. They need defense. I think that's pretty obvious. So
which cornerback thinks better?
You know what? No. No. Anybody pick Slater yet? I might go Slater here.
Offensive line? No, they haven't.
Yeah. Let's go Slater here, man. Because I mean, Dak just came off a debilitating injury because they struggled protecting him at times. That offensive line that used to be a wall is getting a lot older. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it.
I just love it. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, but it's hard because what are they in dire need of? Dire need. What do you need right now if you're a Cowboy
fan? Defense.
You need corner. Yeah, a lot. I've seen cornerback a lot.
Yeah, but you trust any of these dudes right here? Any of them?
J.C. Horn, son.
I was about to say.
I trust him. I definitely.
I think Surtain is the more reasonable pick because they need secondary. But man, J.C. Horn is gonna be good in this league. I know a lot of teams want him, but I can't see him making it past the teens.
I wouldn't know. I didn't watch a down of Gamecock football this year because why would I do that to myself?
Well, he did. He sat out most of the year, so.
Oh, well, there you go. See, there you go. He couldn't watch a down of Gamecocks football, so I got it. I understand.
I can't exactly blame him.
It's all good. Anyway, Markeem going with Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. Moving on to pick number 11, another rival Markeem. So this time Phil's going to be making the pick for the New York Giants.
All right, so let's see. I'm pretty sure I know who they're taking. But because of our draft and how it's worked, there's I would say normally it's probably the selection would be Jalen Waddle, but because Jamar Chase is still available, I feel like it's not gonna happen. I don't think Jamar Chase is. I mean, it just happens to work the way. But he's the best available. And I can't imagine someone.
Markeem, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Markeem, pick him at
Yeah, I
7.
picked Chase.
What?
Yeah, I picked
To the
Chase.
Lions.
Chase went at 7 to Detroit in our mock draft.
Oh, that's right. You did. My bad. Okay, never mind. So yeah, then it's Jalen Waddle. The Giants select Jalen Waddle.
That's a pick I know. I know Giants fans that are probably going to be listening to this right now, or even in general, I've seen on Twitter, who want Jalen Waddle if he's there. Personally, I think they should try to go Slater if he's there, or even, beef up their defense. But I can see them going Gettleman. I can't see him passing on Waddle if Waddle's available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree.
Yeah, like the Giants are in that weird position right now where I think this year is a make it or break it year for Gettleman and Jones, because I think if Jones isn't good, then the Giants are entering the quarterback conversation. But you know what? If Jones sets the world on fire, then Giants have their guy.
If he limits turnovers, I don't think that dude's that bad. Just stop turning the ball over.
That's my thing. He doesn't even have – he could be like a league average when it comes to passing yards and touchdowns. Limit your fumbles, limit your interceptions, be consistent with that and with keeping the ball, and I think he'll stay.
Yeah, it's just I know that it's just tough for me. Like, Waddle's tough to pass there, but with that being said, I do kind of agree too with kind of building in some other areas. They just signed Kenny Galladay. They've got other weapons there too between I'm drawing a blank. Who's their other wide receivers? They got Shepard still,
who looks like Marcus Stroman. They have Darius Slayton.
Yeah,
I think they still have Dante Pettis, don't they?
And Ingram at tight end.
Oh, hands of stone, Ingram.
Hands of stone.
Maybe he develops a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. I think I definitely see the appeal of just going and get a guy like Waddle there.
Oh, and they added Rudolph.
Yeah, and I could definitely see them going either best offensive line or maybe best defensive line.
Can I also say one other quick thing about the Giants? I fully expect Saquon Barkley to bounce back and have a good year in 2021.
Oh yeah, comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I think I think there's a very good chance he wins comeback player of the year.
If anybody can come back from an ACL, I mean, like that, outside of Adrian Peterson, he's got that build.
Yeah, he honestly does.
Yeah, Joe saw him in college. He saw what he did to the. He saw.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was that Don Brown scheme, lining up our middle linebacker out on an island when they motioned him out, and then it's just you knew it was over. It's like, come on, that's your scheme.
Yeah. Well, I have no comment on that because I'm not going to comment on that. But anyway, we're going to move on to Markeem's team, the Philadelphia Eagles, picking at 12. It's I got this pick, and I'm going to be taking Kwity Paye, defensive edge, out of Michigan.
Oh, okay, that's fine, whatever.
He said, "Okay, that's fine."
It's this team needs everything. I don't care. The worst. I'm telling y'all, it's the worst team in football. It's gonna be so bad next year.
Honestly, with this, the way our draft is done, Justin Fields, Eagles.
Oh, he's still on the board, ain't he?
Still on the board. And
I actually wouldn't be mad at that at all. It's not gonna happen. But I wouldn't.
No, he's not gonna be there. Yeah, that's the only thing. It's it just happened to be where that way we're picking, but.
No, I think he's only on the board still because I think we're looking at more positional need for a lot of these teams. For example, I know there's all the rumors with Miami and Philly, oh hey, they could have gone quarterback, but I think that Miami and Philly are good on both their guys considering they both traded back. I know Miami traded up, but the fact that the Eagles moved down 6 and that the Dolphins originally moved 9 slots down, I think both teams are going to be Tua and Hurts will be starting for them in 2021.
Oh, now I can most definitely see Justin Fields chilling and waiting to get picked, like an Aaron Rodgers type situation. I could definitely see that happening. Let's not get it twisted. I can definitely see that happening.
Well,
Griff,
and then Charlie Castley will have the best mock draft in the world.
You really think if the Patriots moved up, it'd be theoretically, Lance and Fields are on the board. They're going Lance.
I just can't imagine that.
I don't know. I was just picking Lance.
You think Belichick wants a project? You think he's gonna do that? I don't know about that, man.
That's the thing, though. Like, I could see them going either. I just picked Lance just because I thought, look, New England was at his pro days. I know that actually, I think it was Josh McDaniels went to his pro day. I don't know if Belichick or McDaniels were at either of Fields' pro days. That's why I made the pick. I know Elliot Wolf was at, who's one of our top executives, was at Fields' pro day, though. So, like that's the reason why I went Lance, is because, like, McDaniels saw him firsthand.
Like, the upside is definitely higher with Lance, though. But I just can't. I can't see it. I can't see Belichick like, I'm going to work on you. Nah, no.
Can I say something about the quarterbacks, though, as a whole? I know I keep asking that. It's my podcast. But I was watching the movie Draft Day yesterday with Kevin Costner, and I remember there was the highly touted Bo Callahan. He didn't go first, and then he slid down. I think if Mac Jones is not picked at 3, I can't see him going until after double digits, unless
he might be chilling. Yeah, he might be chilling.
I think if he doesn't go at 3, he's the one doing an Aaron Rodgers. I think Fields and Lance, people are moving up to get. I also say this with San Francisco. I think it is either Lance or Jones. I don't think Fields would be going to San Francisco.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Like when I was saying, like if they're pulling wool over eyes, that's the only way that Fields ends up going there. I could see Lance falling, truthfully, but I know a lot of people have fallen in love with him. But I could see if people decide to, it's just one of the two. I think Fields or Lance, and it just to me would make more sense for Lance to fall, just because of Fields being more of the like flashy pick, I guess.
Exactly. But anyway, we're just gonna keep this show going and moving on to pick number 13 in the LA Chargers. We got Joe back up to pick for Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think, kind of similar. Herbert obviously had a better offensive line than he got to benefit from, being in a better system, better offensive line in front of him as opposed to his counterpart, Burrow. I do think that the Chargers, at this point, they're going to take best player available. And, man, I think it's tough. I think they're either going to go O-line or they're going to go defensive back. And so if they, this is a tough one for me. I think that J.C. Horn might come off the board. That's who I'm going to go with. I think they're going to go corner and start building that defense here a little bit.
And also someone to have their back in there too with Chris Harris, and also in case Derwin James is not healthy again for 2021, obviously coming off the Achilles. The only other pick I could see them going here with, if they did go O-line, and Markeem can attest to this, is Christian Darrisaw.
Oh, he was the best player on our team last year. Which should tell you all you need to know about our team last year.
Yeah, I was about to say, that comes with like a tone of depression.
No, he's great. I like him a lot. That's my guy. But he was the best player on our team last year. Oh, it was rough. But is Patrick Surtain still on the board?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have anything to say about Horn going to LA though?
No.
Nope. That's what I mean. Best corner, arguably.
Yeah, it's him or Surtain.
Him or Surtain, yeah.
Definitely. Surtain, yeah. I just think that's what they would do here.
All right, and anyway, moving on next to pick number 14. It's me once again with the Minnesota Vikings, and at 14, going to the Vikings, I am going with Patrick Surtain in this spot here. I think the Vikings, we saw last year they could use the help on O-line as well, but I think they can get that in rounds 2 to 3. I think when it comes to corner depth, you should go in the first round, because also too, Harrison Smith's getting up there in age, and I'm blanking on who else they got back there, but I know that their defense needs work, and this is the kind of player you want, especially with a defensive-minded head coach.
All right.
I agree.
I'm certain of it. What can I say?
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Okay, we're done. Cut it. That's good. That was good.
I had to throw it in there. Oh, I had to. But anyway, moving on to 15 now, we have Phil picking for the Carolina Panthers as I traded as I had New England trade up with Carolina.
Yeah, now I'm trying to Yeah, I did not expect the Panthers to beat. It's just odd for the Panthers to not pick in the top 10. There's like nobody that they need left. And I can't see. I mean, corners could go on a run, but like the next corner is like way below. So like to me, that would make them trade down, and I don't really have a clue who they would trade down with. Yeah, this one's tough.
What wide receivers we got left?
Wide receivers, no one's going that high.
All the big three are gone off the board. We had Waddle to the Giants, Smith to the Dolphins, and then Chase went to Detroit.
Yep.
I mean, all the mocks that I've seen, like Carolina needs, if they're not going to go, shock the world, they need a cornerback. But the next best cornerback is Caleb Farley, so it'd be a reach.
Ain't no damn way.
He said, is he not good? I was going to ask Markeem because
he's just injury prone.
Yeah, and no one's gonna pick him this high. That's crazy.
Yeah, at 15, like I don't know.
What about like offensive line for protect Arnold?
That's available is Rashawn Slater right now. I just don't think they need offensive line.
No, we had him go to
got
Dallas.
picked.
Did Slater get picked?
Yeah, Slater went to Dallas.
So it'd probably be like either that dude from UFC or
Darisaw.
Yeah, Vera Tucker's a monster.
That was the other guy I had in mind for the Vikings, by the way, but Surtan's too good to pass on.
You want to go with my boy, Phil? You gonna go with my boy?
I've not seen anything for offensive line for Carolina, so.
I mean, you should have because they definitely need that.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with the best offensive lineman left on the board. I guess I'll go with the Vera Tucker guy, offensive line. Elijah Vera Tucker. O-line.
All good. The guy's an animal, and you know what? If whoever's back there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sam Darnold. It's good to get him some protection. But anyway, moving on next, Arizona Cardinals. Markeem, you're up.
Jesus Christ. All right, now y'all left me with the cupboard just completely bare. Let me see what's left.
That's what I felt.
What the hell? Oh, my God. You know what? What's that boy from Tulsa?
Tevin Jenkins.
That's his name?
Yeah.
No, not him. No.
Oh, Zayvon Collins.
Yeah. The linebacker dude. Yeah. Let's go with him. Let's go linebacker. That's right.
Dang.
That's right. We're getting wild. That's right.
I was gonna say that most picks I see him way down there.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, clearly they can't stop anybody. We know this, right? So like, I feel like go with aggression. When you know what I'm saying, go with aggression. If they keep this pick, they'll go with aggression. Nobody's more aggressive than the Tulsa defense in general, because all they do is blitz. Is why they gave up so many big plays. And go with the best player on the defense. Let's do it.
There you go.
I like the sounds of that. But anyway, now we're in the second half of the draft. Picking at number 17 is the Las Vegas Raiders, and making that pick for the YWC Football Talk mock is Joe.
Yeah, so obviously if this is how it all played out, I think it would get, obviously this is wild, but I think with all the
rumors, has anybody picked Justin Fields yet?
No one has.
No.
This is where obviously Justin Fields, I mean, he's never going to fall to 17, let's be honest. But for the sake of myself, I can't pass on Justin Fields here. So we'll peg him here just to get him off the board. Otherwise, they're definitely going offensive line. Definitely. I think. But
I mean, I thought about Justin Fields with Carolina, but I was just like,
no, I don't think. Yeah, no. Yeah. So we'll get Justin Fields off the board here. He'll sit a year behind Carr before Gruden kicks him to the curb, and then we're rocking.
Can I say something about the Raiders? I'm going to stop saying that. It's just my Canadian in me. The Raiders, I think, are a very underrated team that could potentially move up into the top 10.
Yeah, they've got the assets to go get it.
Quarterback.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
If someone starts falling, I can see Because let's be honest, I was watching an old NFL draft yesterday on YouTube, and I miss Mike Mayock doing analysis. I don't think he has any control. I think he's just the guy that's there. But Gruden's the puppet master in this whole operation.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine like Justin Fields, Josh Jacobs backfield?
Man, Josh Jacobs is gonna be so bad from a fantasy perspective because they brought in Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, that's why I think that they're like in all reality, like this thing got a little bit like twisted, which is realistic in its own sense, but that's why I think that they'd go offensive line because that Gruden smash mouth style. Like you have Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs, they're just gonna want to just run it down people's throats.
I'll tell you what,
and then
honest.
Open that play action up.
I just was looking through and like see the teams that were next. If Justin Fields falls to 17, the Bears are trading up for him. Like they're not passing on another guy.
It would have already happened for sure.
Yeah, Bears would have traded. I mean, that's obviously at this point we're not. I mean, trading it's really hard to predict and it complicates things. So I get that why we're not doing. I was just looking at the Bears. I'm like, if he's falling out of the top 10, the Bears are there and they're giving the house for him. So I just want to throw that out there. Obviously, in our, like I said, it's hard to pick that, but I saw the Bears down there. I was like, they're not going to let like a Mahomes. I mean, not saying Justin Fields Mahomes, but they're going to look at him like that. They're going to be like, oh no, we can't do this again. And so,
you know what?
I can't believe they did all that for Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky. What?
Oh, nah, he's the permanent. He should have been a permanent clipboard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's going to be this year. But just moving on to 18 now. The Miami Dolphins making their second pick, and Markeem, you're up.
I'm going with Najee Harris, man. I think that's pretty obvious. I think he's the only running back going in the first round. I think he's explosive as fuck, and obviously, the Bama connection with Tua. Najee Harris is the pretty easy pick here.
I just got to go in quickly because, like I said, this is Miami Dolphins, so I have to go with the big round analysis from the DMs. He also said, here's a crazy stat for you. They all had less than 80 total yards after the catch all seasons from their pass catchers. I think he's referring to Waddle and Pitts or Chase. But with 18, the Dolphins, he says, they need another edge player after sending Lawson to Houston. They expect Andrew Van Ginkel to play most of Kyle Van Noy's snaps. He thinks Kwity Paye is the rusher they prefer. He can defend the edge well and play defensive tackle. You need edge guys who are versatile in this scheme. As you know, they don't really like super one-dimensional speed rushers who get past the quarterback. If he's gone, I'd say Asai. I think you mean I don't know what you mean. Oh, I think you mean Owusu Koramoah, as well as Landon Dickerson, a bit of a reach since it's O-line spot they desperately need at center. He could be wrong, but he doesn't see Najee at 18, but he thinks that if he's there at 36. Run that ticket in as soon as possible. He just doesn't think they do it here, given Greer's history and given how they've invested so little in the running backs during the Greer-Flores era. That was a mouthful. Another pick I could see here is maybe defense, but also I'm going to say something too with the offensive lineman and center. For as good as Landon Dickerson is, and I know he's coming off the ACL, I think Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma has a higher ceiling than Dickerson in the NFL.
I mean, you could be right. I don't know. You could be right.
That's just me.
It's hard to tell with these linemen, man. I don't know.
Exactly. No. You're right though. It is hard to tell.
They all look a lot. Well, the ones that are really like the top level like prospects, they all look incredible. I thought Robert Gallery would be one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time, and we saw how that turned out. It's hard to tell.
Who is that guy taken in 1980? I gotta search the name up because it's gonna eat at me, and you know what? I got to do research on this stuff. But the 1989 NFL draft where Troy Aikman went number 1 overall, but then Tony Mandarich from Michigan State went second. Remember, he was billed as the next one.
Yeah.
Do you want to know? I got to say something with these picks though from 1989. So the top 5 after him was Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders.
That's crazy.
All insane. 3 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Mandarich played for until 1998 for the Green Bay Packers and the Indianapolis Colts, and he only started 63 of the 86 games that he played.
He's like the Darko of the NFL.
Exactly. Both have to do with Michigan, but with not pick number 19, it's the Washington football team. I'm picking for them. And for Washington, I'm going to be going with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame, the linebacker. I know Washington has a stud defense already. I think, look, if you can just add some depth into that, and also, too, with Ryan Kerrigan getting up there in age, I think it's a pick that could help very well when it comes to either playing that, depending on what kind of scheme they want to run, or also, too, for someone to come off the edge. I think it would be a very good fit. Because also, too, the one player I see him comparable to is Darius Leonard, actually. So we'll see what happens. But he won the Buckus Award, and I think he can help bolster an already stacked defense.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, he was the one. He was the one dude. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say quickly. It reminds me kind of like of Jacksonville when they were kind of on that right trajectory, and they were just loading up that defense.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was the one guy that gave a shit for Notre Dame's defense. So yeah, let's do it. Let's rock with it.
Love it. Anyways, moving into the 20s now and picking for the famous Chicago Bears. Nightmare 10. Once again, you're up.
Well, like I said, once again, the fact that the Bears will not be here at 20. They need a quarterback desperately. Who is the Bears quarterback? I was just asking myself, is it Foles?
Andy Dalton.
Oh, right, Andy Dalton. I totally forgot about that. Oh my God. Yeah. So I mean, obviously in our draft, they're not getting a quarterback, which is, it's crazy to think. But I mean, you got Andy Dalton. I guess you need to protect him. So I'm gonna go O-line. And the best guy I see on here is Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State.
That's the one dude that I'm, in terms of these offensive linemen, I'm concerned about. That's the guy.
I'm just like, you know more about that than I do. So.
No, I'm just saying. I've seen him get blown up too much, man.
Is Leatherwood still available?
He is, but I feel like Leatherwood's going to go probably early second round.
Interesting.
That's just me, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in any first rounds.
Anyway, moving on to picks 21 and 22. I only say that because why? Markeem, you got both of them.
Oh, fuck. All right, so,
21 is the Indianapolis Colts, and then 22 is the Tennessee Titans.
You know what? Let's get wacky real quick. Let's get wacky. All right. So, the Colts, right? I think they're going to try and get weapons around Carson Wentz. Even though there isn't anything that dynamic left. Who is the best of it? Is Rondale Moore still on the board? Let's go Rondale Moore to the Indianapolis Colts. Why the fuck not? Why not? Let's just get Carson Wentz as many weapons as possible. Let's do that.
You know what? I like the pick, and especially too because you don't know what you're going to get out of. We'll see if Michael Pittman Jr. can take a second-year leap, and also too what Zach Pascal can be. But also with T.Y. Hilton getting up there in age, I feel like Rondale Moore is a very good option, especially to have as a wide receiver 3.
Yep. And as far as the fucking Titans go, they need to defend. They need defense. Corner in general. So let's see. Is anyone?
There's Greg Newsome II.
No.
He said no.
Greg Newsome's good. It's just he's got the injury concerns as well.
Yeah. Like I mean, I guess I'll go with my boy Caleb Farley. Just keep him away from anyone bigger than him. don't line him up man to man with anyone bigger than him. And yeah, Caleb Farley. Let's do it.
All right.
And I'm not saying that because of the matchup concern. I'm saying that because he'll get bullied and get hurt. That's what I'm saying. That.
But that's the thing.
Break something.
Man, Tennessee's Danny started saying this on this podcast, and I'm starting to think more of it. I can agree with it. I would not be shocked if Tennessee took a couple steps back and you saw a regression year out of Tannehill just because of Arthur Smith being gone.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Tannehill is he's good, man. I'm saying it's gonna happen. I think if they just stick to their identity, the balance they have on offense, I think Tannehill. I think this is who he is now.
He did lose 2 weapons too, though. Don't forget.
That's fine. That's fine.
But they still got A.J. Brown and they still got Derrick Henry. Anyway, moving on next, 23 and 24 is the Jets and the Steelers. And Joe, you're responsible for both of the picks, my man.
Yeah, so the Jets need everything. I think that even though I know they went out and got that Carl Lawson, I think that it's tough. I still think that they could go linebacker because I know he's kind of like that 3-4 outside, can put his hand in the dirt too. But I think that they go Davis, linebacker from Kentucky. I've seen this kid's got like crazy high upside. He's always around the ball. Doesn't miss a lot of tackles. Just kind of seems like a solid dude. So I think that's who the Jets would go there. If you guys want to discuss that, or
I got nothing there. I didn't see a down of Kentucky football this year. Not a down.
You know what? I haven't seen any Kentucky football. I've heard a lot about Jamin Davis. Like, the kid's going to be good no matter where he ends up in the NFL. But I think Jet fans here would want an edge rusher, though, over a linebacker. That's just a fan perspective, but I do like the pick.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I think this is where and then the Steelers, I think things get a little bit weird here. I know they went out and last year they went and got Anthony McFarland. I know a lot of people, running backs kind of depreciating, but I think that they mix things up here and go get Travis Etienne.
Great pick. I was thinking the exact same thing, Joe. I think because earlier I was going to say Markeem said he thought that Najee Harris is the only running back going to go. Travis Etienne is going to go, and I think
Najee's not. I do think Najee is better, but I think Etienne is up there.
First round.
I think Etienne will be the best running back out of this draft class. I'll still stand by that, and that's coming from
Najee is just, and it's not a knock on Etienne. Najee is just different.
Najee is kind of like if you mix Mark Henry and Derrick Henry. Mark Ingram.
What?
That's like if you mix Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry. Excuse me.
Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Very, very different running back.
Somebody's gonna get the.
You know what that is? That's Jerome Bettis. If we're doing that, that's Jerome.
Oh,
that's funny.
It's only Monday. It's already been a long week. But no, I like both picks. And moving up now, we have pick 25. The Jacksonville Jaguars via the LA Rams. Markeem, you got this one.
Okay. So if I'm Jacksonville, this is like, rebuilding, obviously, situation. Who is the best player available? It doesn't matter. That's who we're taking. Who's best available?
Best available.
That's who we're taking. Let's go homeboy from Washington. That fat dude. What's his name? Levi. What's his name? Oni something.
Yeah, I can't see it. Oni Rizuki.
Yeah,
I can't say it. That's fine.
Yeah. Let's go with him, man. Let's go with him. Only because he's like one of the last dudes that I know I've seen before. So we're getting down to.
I have the correct pronunciation. Levi Onwuzurike.
Oh, there you go. Cool. There you go, Griff.
I think it goes by something else, though. I don't think it goes by that.
Oh, okay. But no, I like the pick. Look, they need someone up there. Another player I would have liked to see them grab is even Azeez Ojulari from Georgia. Just like a defensive edge. They need defense.
Yeah, I didn't think about him.
That's all good. That's just where my mind kind of went to first when I thought of that, because I'm like, hey, what does this team need more than anything? And that's defense.
I'm not gonna change my mind, but yeah, that I didn't think about that.
All good, man. It's all good. And I'm moving up to pick 26, and is the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go with Azeez Ojulari here from the defensive edge from Georgia. Look, Cleveland's a good football team. I know they signed Clowney, but if you can get depth, and especially too, Cleveland runs that Seattle 3-4 defensive scheme with Joe Woods that was picked up with San Francisco. I feel like that Seattle defense is run so many places. Like Gus Bradley's doing it, Robert Sala's doing it. You'll see it with Chris, depending on how much input Chris Richard has on the defense in New Orleans, and now with Joe Woods up in Cleveland. So I think Ojulari is good, especially too. if they don't keep either Tack McKinley or Jadeveon Clowney after the 2021 season. So to have Ojulari with Myles Garrett going forward, I think would be a great dual-headed monster coming off the edge.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yep. I mean, it's smart. I mean, because how many years you're going to get with Clowney? So you put a guy beside him, underneath him, whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, that's just the thing though, because like Cleveland just needs help defensively, and they need defensive depth. If they can get those two things like they've already done, this is a team that could very well be playing very serious football more than once in January again.
Still not sold on that QB they got, but whatever.
We'll see. But anyway, moving on next to pick number 27. That is the Baltimore Ravens' first-round pick. Phil, you're on the clock.
Okay, well, I definitely know what position I am taking here. So looking through some mocks and seeing what everyone else has got, they've got a receiver that's currently third left on the board. So I'm not gonna.
Oh, I know what you're about to do. You're about to do.
What do you think I'm about to do? Hold on
go ahead.
I'm not gonna go with who they pick because I'm like I don't know what their reasoning is behind they went with him. So I'm going with the best receiver on the board, and that's Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota.
Okay, all right.
Well, technically, I could technically the second best. I don't think the first one's gonna go there. I don't think they would take Tony.
That's what I thought you were gonna go with.
I don't think they would take. I forgot he was still up there, but no, I don't think they're gonna take Tony. But I think they'd take either Bateman or the other guy that I was talking about was Terrence Marshall Jr. is what a lot of people have him taken.
I do like the Terrence Marshall pick. Kadarius Toney I feel like could go in the first round, but I think that's a player I think someone like a Cincinnati should try to target in the early second round.
Yeah. I was thinking Bateman and Marshall are better picks, either one of those. So.
Even Elijah Moore could be a good pick for them there at 27. The receiver out of Ole Miss.
Yep.
All right, moving on to.
I couldn't tell you. I hadn't seen a down of Ole Miss football. You're gonna hear that a lot. Like I hadn't seen a. Why would I do that to myself?
It's all good, man. Well, anyway, moving on to the Who Dat Nation. Pick number 28 will be made by yours truly. And I have got a good player here. I was going to go Caleb Farley. That's what I have in my mock draft. But since he's already gone, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Tyson Campbell, the cornerback out of Georgia. Saints need help in their secondary after losing Janoris Jenkins. And I think Tyson Campbell can slide in that position very well.
You think Campbell's going to go in the first round?
I've seen a lot of mocks have him go there.
Man, that's a bit much. But yeah, all right, okay, cool, let's do it.
I'm just doing it because, like I said, that's what I could see happening, and that's where I think a lot of teams can. That's what I think a lot of people could reach to is, you know what, if they see the people there, they're going to take them. But anyway, moving on next, number 29, finalists for the NFC Championship. Wow, that sounded really bad to say. Joe will be picking for both the teams that lost in the AFC and NFC Championship games for the Green Bay Packers first at 29, and then the Buffalo Bills at 30.
Yeah, this one's tough because I definitely think with the Packers, they're going to try to appease Aaron Rodgers, especially after everything that happened at the end of last year. So I definitely see them going offense, whether or not. So this is actually a spot where I think Tony could go, but if he's going to go in the back end of the first round. But I think that they're going to go offensive line because they got depleted a little bit here in the offseason. So I could actually see them going with that Jackson Carman from Clemson. And I know some people project him to kind of be a little bit of a project, might be more of a guard being 6'5" versus your true left tackle. Otherwise, they bump him out to right tackle. But we've seen over the years, Green Bay, unfortunately for them, they get banged up a lot, and they like versatile guys. And a lot of people project him to be able to play a lot of different positions. So I think that's the pick for Green Bay.
Yeah, that's not bad. Getting offensive line depth, that's not bad at all. It's actually pretty smart.
Yeah,
I think
especially after losing some guys.
Yeah, and they also did lose Corey Linsley, who's arguably probably one of the best centers in the league. So
this one, admittedly, was this one of the ones I acquired from?
Yes.
Big Cat. Okay.
Big Rat.
Man, let's see here.
Could I give a player suggestion?
Yeah, that's cool.
Gregory Rousseau out of Miami.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm sorry. What position is he?
He's an edge rusher.
He's an
Edge rusher. Okay. I was definitely thinking like, did we that kid that some people thought came out too early, that kid from Bama, defensive line. Yeah.
He did come out too early.
Yeah, I think it'd be him, or then what? I'll go with what Griff said, because he's a little bit more up to speed on this one. My apologies, but yeah, let's rock with what Griff said.
Man, it's all good. It's just trying to fill in the bottom half of the first round. So I think more of the teams that are drafting in the bottom half in the 20s and beyond, you're really just trying to plug holes more than anything.
Yep, exactly. Build some depth.
Yeah. And then moving on, last two picks, the teams that are in the Super Bowl. Well, actually not in the Super Bowl, excuse me, after a trade on Friday that had Orlando Brown Jr. going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Baltimore now holds the 31st pick in the NFL draft. That pick will be made by Markeem.
All right, let's see. Who what do they really need though?
They just traded Orlando Brown.
They signed somebody too though. Who they signed?
They want to sign Villanueva, but I think they're going to wait because of the what's the word I'm looking for? The comp pick. I can't say the full word. I'm getting tongue tied, but you know how they have the compensatory draft pick. They're waiting for that window so they get the picks or something like that. So I think they will sign Villanueva to their line, but I could see who did we at 20. I'm trying to remember. At 27, Phil, you went receiver for the Ravens, so I think here's where they could go offensive line.
Yeah. We got rid of Dickerson, then he's gone, right?
No, we didn't. I think we was just talked about.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with Landon Dickerson right here. Let's do it.
You know what? They need center depth. Max Skura was awful, and man, I've been calling this for a while. Losing Marshall Yanda was huge for that offensive line.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and their O-line's gonna be restructured, and with how they scheme on offense, that's gonna be something to watch for. They're one of the teams, and they lost Judon too on defense. They're one of the teams, low key. I could see them kind of taking a step back. They're fun to watch, so I kind of hope not, but I could legitimately see them taking a step back.
They're also a team too. I feel like they have the stuff. So I think in a weird world that if Julio were to become available, I would not be shocked if Eric DeCosta tried to make some moves to get him. Because let's be honest, if even Sammy Watkins and Hollywood Brown is not a good 1-2 punch at wide receiver if you're going to want to win a championship.
Yeah, that is true.
And also, I'll say this too. They were better with Phil's boy from South Carolina, tight end Hayden Hurst.
What? Another reason I don't want the Falcons to take Kyle Pitts, but because my boy's there. But
yeah, I get that. But anyway, actually, the man who started off this draft is closing it off with the champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Goat-aneers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna go. I was looking through the board. I've looked at mocks, and I'm gonna go with something that I think that could is a random occurrence. Like this is gonna Markeem may even be like, "What are you talking about?" But I think that because of who's already gone off our board, that I can see them reaching a little bit, and so instead of getting them trading down, I've got them taking Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina.
You know what? I don't hate that.
Because and honestly, I think ETN's a potential being there, but because Joe made a great pick and picked him before me, Javonte Williams is who I'm going with. I just don't see any other. I mean, you could obviously add depth in other positions and stuff like that, but I think a running back to get a young guy and have on that offense would be good.
We got 3 running backs going in the first round though.
But I think that's like. It's just like when you do a mock draft, like mocks, I feel like the reason why so many mocks end up being wrong is because they don't account for stuff like this, Like I think they don't account for the trade. Like there's always something that we look at the draft like, where did this guy come from? Because you can't really predict that kind of stuff. So I think that's why I just decided to make a little bit of a change there.
No, I don't hate the pick though. That's actually smart.
You know what? Like I think at that point Tampa is just trying to plug holes. I could also see them either trading out or even one of the quarterbacks that Markeem says is not going to be good, like Trask or Mond. I could see Tampa drafting them like a project just because you don't like. You're gonna have Tom Brady for. I don't think he's gonna play past like he's gonna be 44 at the start of this year. I think at best, I know like 3 of the 4 of us in this chat absolutely love Tom. I just can't see him playing more than 3 years with the Bucs. So I think you need an option that's not Ryan Griffin or Blaine Gabbert to take over for him when he's eventually ready to hang him up.
Blaine Gabbert, boy. Oh man.
I just don't. I mean, Brady's calling the shot. I just don't think they're even touching a quarterback unless it's a prospect way late in the draft or something. But
if they do, I think it's because he'd be like, "Hey man, pick this guy right here." He did with apparently he did that with Jimmy G. He was like, "Yeah, pick this guy."
Yeah, if he says it, I think that would
Yeah, but the one thing I'll say with Tampa, like, man, Tampa's just an interesting team. Like, I know they signed Giovanni Bernard and they have Leonard Fournette, but you know what? I like the pick of Williams because, man, if they get the Williams that lit up that Miami defense, that's good for Tampa.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're really in a position where it's kind of a luxury pick. They don't really have any like crazy holes to fill, and from there you're just stacking depth. I mean, you've got to account for injuries in the NFL. So
if anything, they could maybe. I know they have Brait and Howard and Gronk, obviously, but if they wanted to add in another tight end even later on in the draft, like say a Tommy Tremble or a Brevin Jordan or even what's the guy's name, Freiermuth from Penn State, they could go that route as well just to get a 4th guy in there.
Yeah.
Like Tampa's an open book. They can go anywhere in this draft. I could even see them if there is a team out there. I think that's like wanting to get a quarterback and is desperate. I could see them trading out and a team drafts still. I wouldn't be shocked if a quarterback goes either to Tampa at 32 or another team. But you know what? The more I think about it, I don't think they'll be taking a quarterback at 32.
Yeah.
I think they'll go defense.
Yeah. Well, anyway, boys, got to say, this was a lot of fun tonight. Thank you for participating in the 2nd annual YWC Football Talk mock draft for the first round. It's going to be a fun one Thursday night, guys. We're less than 72 hours away. While you guys were talking for 31 and 32, I actually saw photos of the setup on Twitter live from Cleveland. It's getting close and it's getting real. The stage is up and ready to go, man. I am excited for Thursday night.
I'm glad that one of you guys are.
You know what?
Seriously, what is there for me? What is there for me to be excited about? There's nothing about the Eagles that, yay, like, there's nothing. There's nothing.
As a fan of the NFL, I'm excited, but for my team, it's just a varying range of emotions because I don't know exactly what they're going to do. If they draft out, like if they drop down, I'm going to be like, oh, typical Patriots. But if they draft up, I can't wait to see everybody go, Belichick never does this. And I get to be like, well, he's doing it now. So
I promise you there'll be logic behind it. It'll make sense. I promise you that.
I will keep you to that promise because it won't shock me if it happens.
Jesus, man. These fucking Eagles. Just go. I'm sorry. I'm being rude. Go ahead. Sure.
It's all good, man. Joe, Phil, how are we feeling about Thursday night?
I'm excited. To me, like, we talked about last week, it's the NFL draft is something that I mean, even going back to like when I was like, I'm kidding you not, like 7, 8, 9 years old, I lived for it, especially as a Lions fan. Them being in the top 3 every year was always kind of a big deal. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think the NFL, ESPN, NFL Network, like across the board, they've marketed this one and have hyped it as much as ever. Yeah, I'm pumped. I cannot wait. Gonna order some pizza probably and just kick back and watch some NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be fun. Like I said with Griff, I'm very intrigued this year about because of all the talk and what the Pats could do. So it's gonna be interesting to get to sit down and watch it instead of just being like in a later pick and knowing you're probably gonna trade out. So either we'll make our pick at 15 or we'll trade up, potentially, hopefully not trade down, but we'll see what happens. But one thing I have a question for you guys. So when you guys watch the draft, are you on Twitter at the same time, or do you try to just watch it and not get spoiled?
Go ahead.
I'll let you guys go first because I got.
You know what? You guys are my guests. I'll let you guys. I'll let Mark. How about we do this? Markeem, Joe, and then I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here's the thing. Most of the time, I just watch, but like this year, because I think we're gonna be terrible, I'm just gonna read Twitter, especially because I'm gonna be working. So there's that. But like, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, typically, in the past, I'm a big like scroll through Twitter. I try to avoid I don't love like the spoilers of the draft, and I'm glad what was it like a couple of years there they would zoom in on the guy who was about to be picked, and it was like total just
it was
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah. My problem now, so my cable provider is YouTube TV, and the only downside to the streaming cable providers is that you're about 20 to 30 seconds behind everybody else. So even if it weren't for the reporters there that are spoiling stuff on Twitter about a minute prior to you seeing them live, I'm even further behind that. So I think I will just watch on TV and try to keep Twitter away. I'm definitely down for a group chat. If you don't mind just waiting about 30 seconds before we talk about it.
Yeah, so I watch on Sling TV, so I know you're paying with that, but I've kind of gone back and forth with that. It was just a question I wanted to ask you guys, because you watch it and then you're you're also trying to follow on Twitter because all your friends all of us are on. You want to see everybody's thoughts and stuff, and then you see Adam Scheffler's reports who the draft pick is, and then they're like, well, now what's the point of even watching this? Now you're waiting for them to announce the pick. So it's kind of I've had both ways. And then it's well, then you get excited because you know the pick already. So it's just a question I wanted to throw out there. Griff?
You know what? For me, I don't know. I'm probably gonna be on Twitter for when the Pats pick or when they move up. But at the same time too, I'm debating if what's it called? When the but for the most part, I'm gonna probably be on Twitter. But I don't know if I'm gonna give my thoughts to every single reaction, because it's kind of I'm gonna give a wrestling analogy. It's like the Royal Rumble. When someone big comes out, you're obviously gonna react to it. But when someone if it's a whatever pick, or if it's a team you don't really care about, it's oh, okay, yeah, cool. It's just whatever. So I'll probably scroll, but I don't know how much actual tweeting I'll be doing. I'm also still debating if I'm going to be doing because I want to record a podcast, an emergency one, if the Patriots were to move up, in case basically if glass breaks in case of emergency, please break glass kind of situation, like the one Cam signed, and I had to go out to my car on my lunch break and record a podcast about him. So it'll be a very similar-ish thing for me. So I'm still weighing my options, but the one thing I can tell you is I'll be watching on the NFL Network, because I do not want to watch on ESPN or ABC.
Oh man, ESPN, their coverage is awful.
Well, man, it's Trey Wingo and he's good, but then they got rid of him and it's Mike Greenberg now, and I cannot stand Mike Greenberg, so I'd rather listen to Rich Eisen.
Makes sense. I got you.
Yeah, no problem. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the draft episode. Thank you once again to Markeem, Phil, and Joe. Guys, hope it was a good time for all of you. I know that obviously Phil and I know Markeem, but Joe, this is the first time meeting Markeem. Hopefully we can do this all again sometime soon. And also too, guys, I'm going to be doing a series coming up soon where I interview people about each of their teams to see where they exactly are. And you know what? As the season gets closer and closer, there'll be more content because, hey, we're still 4 months away, but it'll be here before you know it. So anyway, guys, thank you once again for enjoying episode 84 of YWC Football Talk, and enjoy the NFL Draft this coming Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday afternoon. Good night, everyone.
Peace.